However, they were working with their family in a different way.
Oh my god. They were like Alabama kind of close. Imagine being like a generation where like your entire like all your grandfathers now were all doing incest. Oh my god. Oh my god. No wonder his chin's like that.
Were a massively powerful
I swear, if you have just a mustache, if you have just a mustache, like I'm kind of like ruined, I need to get rid of this. If you just have this, either you have to be really like peng, which means like handsome, or you're a pedophile, like instantly. I'm telling you right now, if you have a mustache and no beard, you're a pedo, or you're like attractive, but. I'm about to like a Halloween themed thing. I'm eating Christmas chocolate. Yo guys, what is up this video? I'm reacting to Food Theory Count Chocula's Shameful Past.
Cool your beans, bro.
Alright, first of all, yeah. I'm telling you this right now. I've never had Count Chocula. I know, don't scream in the comments. Chill. I know it's a Halloween theme, you know. But the thing is, it's from America. So if I want to get that like cereal, cereals around here probably like £1, £2. But if I bought it from America, it's gonna be £7, £5, something like just for importing it here. But maybe I can get some taste from the video, huh? I don't know. But let's get into the video. Mom.
Alright mascots, listen up. Your Halloween themed monster cereals are all basically the same. We don't need all 5 of you, so we're gonna have to cull the herd a little bit. One at a time, step forward and deliver your catchphrase. Count Chocula, you're first.
I want to eat your cereal.
Alright, not
Sure, I'm
very
feeling kind of
clever,
seduced, you know.
You can stay. Next up is Frankenberry. You know what? Actually, your cereal sells pretty well. You're safe. You too, Booberry. Good job on those sales.
Oh, I know
Let's
about
hear
that. From Corey Extension, yeah, but
Fruity Mummy.
Fruity yummy.
Yo, get this man out of here.
Go yummy.
Nah, get him out of here. What is that?
Real? Is that really your catchphrase?
Yeah, I say it in commercials.
How do you sell?
Take him away.
What? Come on, no.
That shit was trash. Trash, kid.
Brute. Let's hear it from you. Alright, gonna stop you right there. So
Yeah.
that's it? You just howl the word fruit?
Exactly.
I'll see myself out.
Yeah.
Yeah, get your stupid ass out of here.
Honestly, didn't even know you were a thing until today.
I didn't even know half the shit. I knew the goldberries. I know that. How? I didn't even see the guy getting run in the middle of the intro.
Happy Halloween, internet! Welcome to Food.
Alright, matpat. You know, you just criticized the guy for doing that. Now you might make him joke.
A sugary cereal kind of guy. Aside from Apple Jacks, which I'm gonna tell you all about in an upcoming episode, we just don't keep cereals like that around the house, except for the seasonal exceptions. You see, every holiday when cereals roll out their special limited edition flavors, I love testing them out. I'm curious what new sugary concoction they've come up with this time. Christmas Crunch, sign me up. S'mores summer cereal, absolutely. Lucky Charms for St. Patrick's Day, it's just Lucky Charms. And on
Lucky Charms, I knew about that. You guys have a small cereal. That sounds lit.
Every loving kid knows General Mills' seasonal monster cereals get trotted out onto store shelves every year.
I think I said that wrong.
Count Chocula is probably my personal favorite. He's the mascot of the chocolate-flavored monster cereal.
As my dude, a vampire, but has 2 teeth like Cody. I mean, Cody is a vampire.
Don't be scared. I'm the super sweet monster with the super sweet new cereal, Count Chocula.
Despite having 50 years of television commercials under
50 years. That's like my age.
All fleshed out. As his oh-so-punny name suggests, he's basically a kid-friendly version of Bela Lugosi's iconic Dracula character. Down to the accent.
You guys know who Dracula is, right? It's like a fantasy movie of comedy of 2 small people.
With his 2
Definitely isn't about vampire.
Count Chocula in the commercials is very proud of his chocolate cereal. It'll go toe-to-toe with anyone who claims that their cereal is superior, especially Frank.
My dude's beefing on site. I already like Count Chocula already.
Well, they don't see eye to eye when it comes to chocolate versus strawberry. Both monsters can agree on one thing: children and cute animals are downright terrifying.
Count Chocula.
I mean,
Hi.
Count Chocula.
Meow.
bro, I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes, you know, when I see a little chihuahua, I'm just like, chill. Alright, I don't want to get hurt.
Seems pretty straightforward, right? Count Chocula is a not-so-scary version of Dracula who sells delicious, sugary cereal to kids. He has
Yep,
no real
pretty much.
backstory to speak of, so he's totally uncontroversial.
So he gives
Well,
his sweets to
this
kids.
is the part of the
I'm
episode where
getting
your childhood
some
gets
weird
ruined,
vibes from this
folks,
guy.
as we here at Food Theory did some digging. Turns out that Count Chocula does have himself a backstory. It's been kept secret.
The cereal for the first year was made out of children liver. Children liver, child liver. I don't know.
Yep, and we can prove it. So hold on to your Frankenberries, because this monstrous food
Yo,
theory
get this
has
guy.
got itself
Get him
some
out of here. I
teeth.
don't want to see
First
that.
off, let me just say, I get it. This is a weird, bold claim to be making about a beloved children's cereal mascot. But it's not like I woke up this morning looking for a way to take down Count Chocula.
Just found
okay?
vaccine,
I
right?
woke up like a month and a half ago looking for a way to take down
I mean,
Chocula. I'm a
that's
guy
true.
who follows wherever the facts lead me, right? And in Count Chocula,
Why does he look like he has two black eyes, but we don't talk about that?
Chin. See, over the past 50
Damn,
years,
crimson
we've
on
seen
that.
Count Chocula drawn in a variety of different animation styles, as you'd expect from any character who's been around that long. But his chin has been a constant throughout every iteration. There's no version of it that isn't long and protruding. Now, this is known as prognathism, the extension or bulging out of the lower jaw. Colloquially,
real?
it's referred to as Habsburg jaw because it's most famously present throughout the Habsburg dynasty. And by the way, I'm going to be spelling Habsburg with a B in today's episode, despite the Habsburg with a P spelling that we're used to in the US. Yeah, it does sound like a P to your ear, but actually modern-day descendants of that royal line spell it with a B. And you know what? If they're the descendants of that
Habsburg,
line, I'm going
yeah.
to trust the way
But
that they
put a P
spell
in
their
there.
own name. So
Put a P
good
somewhere
enough for
else,
food
you know what I
theory.
mean?
Now, the Habsburgs
stop.
were a massively powerful
I
royal
swear, if you
house
have
with
just a
territories
moustache,
across Central Europe,
moustache,
Southeastern Europe, and
if you have just a moustache, like I'm kind of like ruined, I need to get rid of this. If you just have this, either you have to be really like peng, which means like handsome, or you're a pedophile, like instantly. I'm telling you right now, if you have a moustache and no beard, you're a pedo, or you're like attractive. But we're gonna talk about that.
and beyond from the 13th century until the Austro-Hungarian Empire fragmented in the wake of World War I. In order to secure land holdings and alliances, the Habsburgs, as well as many other royal families in that region at the time, married strategically. And by strategically, I mean, if you can't trust someone else to do it, you gotta do it yourself. Long story short, these ancestral lines were more incestuous than a YouTuber's working crew.
They are ugly.
Not like YouTubers are
that's coming
doing
from
it
me.
with their family. I mean, YouTubers are doing it
I
with
really
their
do. Why
family.
did I
They're
insult
working
myself?
together.
Why?
YouTubers tend to work with their family and close relatives. That's what I'm saying here. All right, I'm just saying that everyone tends to work with their family members in this industry. And in the Habsburg line, they were working with their family in a different way.
Oh my god. They were like
family, so to speak.
Alabama kind of close, if you understand my...
Bit shallow, and the genetic disorder prognathism became pronounced. Now, obviously, just because you have a
Imagine being like a generation where like your entire like all your grandfathers that were all doing incest. Oh my god. Oh my god. No wonder his chin's like that. The freaking DNA was too close.
protruding lower jaw doesn't mean that you're the product of inbreeding. I don't want to say that in the slightest. Obviously, there are plenty of examples out there of people with an extended lower jaw that, you know, aren't their own grandfather. But when you look at the details around Count Chocula's character, the
anyone with big
story
chin,
starts
you're
to tell
instantly
itself.
an inbred.
Count Chocula's accent closely mimics Bela Lugosi's original portrayal of Dracula back in 1931.
He was also an inbred.
I am Dracula.
Dracula.
My delicious super sweet cereal, Count Chocula.
Lugosi was born in Lugos, Austria-Hungary, which today is Lugoj, Romania. Lugoj has been within Transylvania's ever-changing borders at certain points in history, though today it lies in the Romanian historic region adjacent Transylvania. Because Lugosi used his natural dialect for the role of Dracula, this is strong evidence that Count Chocula hails from the same geographic region as Bela Lugosi, that is to say, near Transylvania, particularly the western edge of Transylvania, closer to the present-day Hungarian-Romanian border. As for Chocula's title of Count, this also ties him to that region. A Count is a title of nobility that generally ranks towards the middle of the royal hierarchy.
Counting,
Not every European country has a title that's equivalent to Count, but both Romania and Hungary just so happen to be among the countries that do. In Romania, the title is Cont, and in Hungary, it's Vicomte. So
wait,
recap,
you can't say that here.
Count
hey,
Chocula is
I'm a
noble
cunt.
who hails from a region with a rich tradition of royal inbreeding. inbreeding, and he happens to exhibit the genetic disorder prognathism, which is a side effect of long-term inbreeding. It's certainly strong circumstantial evidence, but I'd like something a bit more direct. After all, just because someone's a count doesn't necessarily mean that they have themselves a royal bloodline.
And
a non-noble
an inbred
may have a title such as
bloodline.
count conferred to them by a monarch long after their birth. So there's certainly a chance
I
that
did
Count
my
Chocula
sister.
was just a big-chinned commoner with no royal lineage or family history of incest, and he was just given the title of count for, I don't know, having the most delicious cereal on the block or something. What I'm looking for is evidence of actual royal lineage, and as a matter of fact, Count Chocula does drop a super handy tidbit about his bloodline in Count Chocula Goes to Hollywood, a record that came with monster cereal boxes back in 1979.
You know,
To
matpat
lay
was
the
back
scene,
then
Count
collecting them
Chocula here is
for the
just
evidence for
told
this video.
Frankenberry
30
that he's
years in the
going to
future.
Hollywood to win a monster lookalike contest.
Why should you win, Count Chocula?
Because I look just like my great-great-uncle Drac from Transylvania.
So Count
So
Chocula
he
claims
is.
to be the great-grandnephew of Dracula, and that's incredibly useful information to us because we're basically trying to do the impossible. Connect a
Great.
fictitious
I mean, he
character
is
to a
immortal.
real-life dynasty. But Dracula, as it would happen, is one of those characters who
I thought
blurs the
vampires
line
can
between
reproduce.
reality and fiction a little bit. I suppose you could say he walks in both worlds. Allow me to
Damn, he's
explain.
pale.
In 1897, the world was introduced to Dracula in Bram Stoker's gothic horror novel of the same name.
Bro.
Obviously, Count Dracula, an old-school vampire who was sucking blood long before vampires started to suck, is a fictional
Oh
character.
my
But
God.
the character is largely based upon a real-life
There's two meanings for that.
Transylvanian-born royal from the 1400s, Vlad III Tepesh, aka
This guy,
Vlad the
he believes you
Impaler,
pale people
aka
from their arse or
Vlad
something. That was-
Dracula. The thing is, Stoker didn't exactly fact-check
Yeah,
his
you
novel or
nasty.
anything.
You
After
nasty.
all, he was just a guy trying to write some cool, creepy gothic fiction. It seems Stoker heard some stories about Vlad the Impaler being a generally bloodthirsty guy who impaled people, then used elements of those stories to help craft a vampire character.
Basically,
who
I shoved the
isn't
spear up the
exactly
ass.
Vlad the Impaler, but also has enough overlap that it couldn't really be based on anyone else in history. How many other Transylvanian royals named Dracula out there have a thing for impaling, you know? So
Wait, it doesn't
essentially
go up
what
the
Count
arse.
Chocula
I'm just
is saying
stupid
is
then.
that in his universe,
Yes,
he's
that
the
was pretty certain.
great-grandnephew of Vlad the Impaler. And while
See,
Vlad the
Peter.
Impaler isn't himself
And he has a thing, he's probably
Habsburg,
inbred as well.
He did have himself the Habsburg jaw. I repeat, a relative of Count Chocula has himself prognathism. Now, of course, we need to make sure that the timeline checks out. Vlad the Impaler lived in
Let's
the
check his
1400s,
chromosomes. Oh,
and
wait,
his
he has
supposed
2 more.
great-grandnephew Count Chocula is hitting up discos in the 20th century. Are we
Jeez.
to believe that they're separated by 6 centuries and yet only 3 generations? Well, yeah, vampires are semi-immortal after all. Dracula is a vampire.
Semi-immortal.
Count Chocula is a vampire. Well, actually, is he a vampire? I mean, he obviously dresses the part, but let's look at the evidence. There's
What if he just
number
has
of
been?
vampiric
Or like,
rules laid
you
out
know,
in
warm up
Dracula
bed.
that don't seem to apply to Count Chocula. He sleeps in a bed rather than a
Coffin.
coffin. He's able to ingest human food. He casts a shadow, and yet he does possess some vampiric powers, such as the ability to levitate objects. And
Maybe
turn
he's like
into
half and
a
half,
bat.
so he can
I
like
think that's
go in the
a bat.
sun, all
It's
the
close enough.
best,
The
the
point
good
is
stuff,
this. Count
and also
Chocula
can
possesses
do some
some
crazy shit.
vampiric traits, but
Levitate.
not all, which is solid evidence that he's not quite a vampire, but rather a dampier. Now, what's that, you might
What
ask?
the
Well,
fuck?
get ready to learn about the bats and the bees, everyone. You see, when a vampire and a human love each other,
Nah, I don't need to
very,
see. I'm a
very
little
much,
young.
They make a dampier. According to legend, dampiers are able to do
have to do
specific
something now.
vampiric things like practice sorcery and control animals, but are also able to do certain human things like eat human food and sometimes cast shadows. And according to Mythology Wiki,
calm. That's like
quote,
both best
"Dampiers
of both
may be
worlds."
more mortal than vampires who are known to have a semblance of immortality, but they can still live for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And this makes
We know this
so
from
much
personal
sense because
proof.
if you look at Count Chocula over the course of the past 50 years, it's very clear that his body is in fact changing. And I'm not just talking about his art style here. He's gotten a lot taller. In the 70s, his eyes were basically at Frankenberry's chin, but just a decade later, and suddenly they're practically eye to eye.
My
And
dude
yet,
went through
after that
puberty,
50+ years
unlike
of
me.
adulthood, he still doesn't look
Short me.
elderly. So what's clear is that Count Chocula is aging, but not at a human rate. See, if he were purely a vampire, he wouldn't have aged at all. If he were a human, he'd be looking like the red woman without her necklace. But instead, he's put on a good 16 inches over the past 5 decades. As
16
he finally hit some
inches.
kind of slow-mo dampiric
He should join the
puberty.
NBA.
So he's a dampier in Dracula's lineage, but there's still a huge unanswered question lingering in the air. What's the deal with his name? Why is he called Count Chocula? This brings us to the final part
He
of
likes
the theory.
chocolate? I don't know.
Consider this. Vlad II was known as Vlad Dracul. His son, Vlad the Impaler, was known as Dracula, meaning son of Dracul. So by this custom, it's quite possible that Count Chocula's ancestors were Chocula originally and was changed somewhere down the line. Oh, and by
What?
the way, Chocula just
Yeah?
so happens to be a surname that's found most densely in, where else? Central Europe, including modern-day Hungary. So if you're in Transylvania and want to run into somebody named Chocula, you don't really have to travel that far. So
Are you
here's
serious?
the theory, my friend.
Yo, Chocula, my guy.
Food theory as to why literally everything in Count Chocula's life is the way it is. His mother, a vampire, hailed from the Dracula line
Yeah.
and was Vlad the Impaler's grandniece. Count Chocula's father, who had the surname Chocula,
This
was
is
a
really
regular
confusing
old
already.
mortal. The two lovebirds met somewhere in the vicinity of Transylvania. at
yes,
some
like
point in the
always
last
wanted a
5
vampire
centuries or
girlfriend.
So they gave birth
Wait,
to Alfred.
don't do that.
Yes,
Wait,
first
what do
name
you
is
mean?
Alfred, had to throw that one in there. And Alfred, being the son of Chocula, took the customary step of taking Chocula as his name.
Yeah.
From his mother's side, Alfred inherited the noble title of Count,
Count.
his considerable wealth, as well as the protruding chin. From there, chocolate probably
Yep.
just kind of became Count Chocula's thing.
He might just
The
like
same way
chocolate, you know?
pretzels became the Wetzel family's thing. When you got a name like that, you just kind of have to roll with it. You
Roll
know?
with the flow.
So there you have it, friends.
That's
the
it.
most complete backstory.
What am I saying? That's it. That's
Count
confusing as
Chocula
shit.
to date, with all the good, the bad, and the inbreeding included. And it's just in time too because General
Inbreeding.
Mills
Why
is
inbreeding?
reportedly
Did it have to be
developing an
included?
entire cinematic universe for its monster cereal IP. I wish that was a joke, but it's certainly not. And given what we've learned today, I think it could work. It has echoes of the connected Justice League universe, with Count Chocula as the Batman stand-in. Quite literally this time at the center of it all. I mean, the Batman character is made for some really great movies over the years, so I feel like inbred Batman would at least be halfway decent. Besides,
Inbred
now
Batman.
General
Don't
Mills has
call him-
many
please don't
other
call him that.
options.
That's
What are
just-
they gonna do? Put the fate of the franchise on the shoulders of this guy?
Yes.
Yummy, mummy, bless your tummy.
I mean, it's worth a shot.
But hey,
That's just a theory, a food theory.
Bon appetit. Thanks for watching.
So, Count Chocula is an inbred vampire. So it's not the first time I've ever heard that in my life. You know, some people call me inbred. I don't know why. I need to stop. Nobody calls me that. I swear. Maybe my mom. What? If you guys enjoyed the video, you know, slap a like. You know, like that. You know, there was a bug there. That's why I did that. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.